I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington Tonight. To Joe or not to Joe? That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, Johnny Carson, he knew when to retire. He did it when he was on top.
I'm one of the lucky people in the world. I found something I always wanted to do, and I have enjoyed every single minute of it. I can only tell you that it has been an honor and a privilege to come into your homes all these years and entertain you.
And Seinfeld, he could have gone on another season or two, but he knew better. He said, I realized I could go off the air right now and the show could be a legend, or I could make some more money. Smart. Then there are those who just can't let go. Cher kicked off her wildly successful Living Proof farewell tour, which began in 2002 and grossed $250 million worldwide. Only it wasn't a farewell at all. In 2014, she hit 49 cities in her Dress to Kill tour. Okay, two farewell tours, totally fine, maybe. But there was a third farewell tour. Cher's Here We Go Again tour kicked off in 2018, and that ended a few years later in 2020. But at least with Cher's long goodbye, there are a lot of great costume changes and music nostalgia. But if Biden sticks around, all America will get is an economy in decline and a first lady in denial.
He's not done. He's not finished what he started. Look at all that Joe has done, has accomplished. I mean, he brought us out of the chaos.
Is all that's left at this point is just to figure out a time and place for the announcement?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. That tells us who's in charge.
Well, apparently someone interviewed my wife today, I heard that too, just before I came in. I got to call her and find out. No, all kidding aside. My intention hasn't been from the beginning to run, but there's too many other things I have to finish in the near term before I start a campaign.
But voters see that he's already finished doing quite a bit. Biden's policies killed our energy independence, stoked inflation, blew trillions on idiotic COVID payments, drove up food and gas prices, and none of this is going to age well. And speaking of age...
Is your age part of your own calculation into whether to run again?
No, but it's legitimate for people to raise issues about my age. It's totally legitimate to do that. And the only thing I can say is watch me.
Oh, we're watching all right.
Are you planning to travel to East Palestine, Ohio?
This time I'm not. I did a whole video, what the hell? On Zoom. All I can, every time I think of Zoom, that song of my generation, who's zooming who? Wait, let me answer the question.
That's not your generation, by the way. Nice try, though. The fact is the Democrat establishment sees what we see, and they know what we know. Biden is fading. He's unsteady, and he's faltering before our eyes. No serious person believes that he's capable of making his own decisions about complex questions of foreign or domestic policy.
Do you have any plan to travel to Ohio, and have you talked with the mayor yet?
I can't recall whether I don't think I've talked to the mayor. I've talked to everyone else there, and multiple times. Talked to both the senators, both governors. I've talked to everyone there is to talk to.
Both governors? What? And now journalists with top Democrat Party sources, they're reporting about the worry within the party that's building. A few weeks ago, it was Jonathan Martin, noting that senior Democrats worry Biden is too old for a second term. And today it was Mark Leibovich in The Atlantic, also noting the worry the Democrats have in private about Biden's age and wishing he'd step aside. The public silence around the president's predicament has become tiresome and potentially catastrophic for the Democratic Party. Somebody should make a refreshing nuisance of themselves and involve the voters in this decision. Now, one of the few elected Democrats discouraging a second Biden run is Minnesota's Congressman Dean Phillips, who says that the president's approval rating has many Democrats freaking out. Believe me, there are literally hundreds in Congress, he said, who would say the same thing. But they simply won't blank say a word. There's also the very real concern about Kamala Harris. Since it's possible, of course, that Biden wouldn't be able to finish a second term, former Clinton lawyer Greg Craig writes, Biden should tell his party that he'll not dictate who will be his running mate, but instead leave it up to the delegates to pick the person who is best equipped to take on that task. Now, wait a second. Are they implying that should it be necessary, understudy Kamala Harris isn't prepared for the leading role?
I just love the idea of exploring the unknown.
I love electric school buses. I just love them for so many reasons. Maybe because I went to school on a school bus. I really love Venn diagrams. You know, the circles, right? 3 usually. To check if you qualify, go to getinternet.gov. To check if you qualify, go to internet.gov.
This is an absolute nightmare for the Democrats. Plus, everyone knows that there's a huge appetite for someone OTB, other than Biden in 2024. 58% of Democrats and Democratic-leaning independents support the idea of nominating someone else. And let's not forget Biden's implicit 2020 promise that he'd be a one-termer.
I view myself as a bridge, not as anything else. There's an entire generation of leaders you saw stand behind me. They are the future of this country.
He was a bridge, all right. A bridge to nowhere, or maybe a bridge to the first doctor.
Is there any chance at this point that he's not going to run?
Not in my book.
You're all for it.
I'm all for it, of course.
How imperious. It's all about them. What the country desperately wants and needs just doesn't matter. So as nervous as some Republicans are about a politically damaging blood feud between Trump and DeSantis, the Democrats have reason to be far more nervous. They have an incumbent with a bad record and a bad memory. Of course, publicly, liberals really try hard to appear calm.
There's no need to be nervous. I mean, we gotta feel people should just jump in. Let's jump in. Let people jump in. You got Marianne Williamson out there saying she may run.
So he should be challenged, President Biden.
Absolutely, he should be challenged. This is democracy. This is not a dictatorship. Voters deserve to have choice, period.
Yes, they do deserve a choice. And Republicans will have lots of options. But that's wishful thinking for the Democrats. So I have to say, sorry, Gavin. Sorry, JB. Sorry, Gretchen, you're going to have to wait your turn. And in 2024, the voters who've gotten shafted these past few years, they'll finally have their turn. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.